What are you doing? Hey guys, so we're starting a new thing. We're just gonna hop on and just record a little video, maybe every other week, and just be ourselves and talk to you guys about what we're doing, what our plan is, what our hearts are, what we have to do. So this one's gonna be a little awkward because it's our first one,
and we're awkward people,
and we're awkward people, and we're nervous. I don't know why. I just thought we're nervous to be recorded, but here we are. We're just going to show our heart and we're just going to be ourselves and welcome to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm Audrey.
Hi, I'm Sheena.
I'm Brittany.
I'm sure you guys probably already
Yeah, you probably know that.
Yes.
But in case you didn't.
In case you
know
didn't.
now.
Now you do. Yes. So we just wanted to talk a little bit about what is Royal Path Ministries and what is our heart for Royal Path Ministries and why are we starting Royal Path Ministries, and just kind of bring you guys into that because sometimes it's so easy to see, on paper what it is, but I think that really sharing our heart is important, our heart behind it and what we want. So what do you guys think? What do you think is the biggest heart behind Royal Path Ministries? I'll put you on the spot. We did not ask these questions first, so we're just on the spot. You're hearing it here first.
One of the big things is I think we've been through it. We understand it on another level. We understand that hopelessness where there's nobody that understands you or wants to help.
Yeah.
And if you want help, where do you go?
Right. Yeah. Just knowing, like you said, I think whenever you know that somebody has been through the same things that you've been through, it helps you to connect with them better. I've been in the same darkness that you're in. I can look at you right now and say there's not much you can say that you're going through that I'm not also
no judgment. Yeah. And seeing somebody come out on the other side.
And really showing somebody the answer of how we got out.
Yes.
And who. That's what pointing them to who can get you out and the cure for getting you out. There's a way out. We found a way out, and it's through Jesus, and that's what we want to tell other people. It's when we show other people and walking beside them to show them how.
Yeah, hope is a person. Their hope is a person that they need to meet.
Yes,
it's Jesus.
It's Jesus. Yes. Because we were just talking about this. You can be sober every day of the rest of your life and not have life.
Yes.
Jesus came to give us life and give it abundantly. That's how you can look at 3 women right here who were in active addiction, who were lost, who had nothing, who now have life.
Yes.
And it's because of Christ,
Yeah.
It's not about just being sober. It's about having life.
And we can't help but share that with others of what he saved us from.
Yes.
It's amazing, like what he has saved us from. So to give that to other people or show other people, I mean, it's amazing. I think that's the heart behind it is, the desire to show other people, what we have found.
Yeah,
and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
and it continues day in and day out. This joy and the hope and the faith that we have now, even in the hard times. Before the hard times would. Oh my goodness, it would drag you down into a deeper addiction and depression, and now it helps us cling to the one that saved us and teaches us in our struggles now.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different life.
Yeah, I think so much about the story of the man who built his house on the rock. And the man who built his house on the sand. Both stories had the flood and the storm and the rains and all that. Like, it doesn't mean just because we've turned our life over to Christ, it's never going to be hard again. We're never going to go through tough times. But it means that when those tough times come, we've built our house on the rock. We have an anchor. We have something to hold on to, and it's not going to destroy us. It's not going to tear us to pieces like it did before, but we have an anchor to hold on to. And I think all that really leads me into what I feel like is, the biggest heart for me is the discipleship. Taking people by the hand and walking beside them and discipling them, teaching them, not just coming to a program, but being discipled, being walked with, being talked with, being, a part of our homes, a part of our families, a part of our lives, going to meetings with us and just walking with us.
There are plenty of places that you can go in and they'll give you some type of curriculum, but they don't work with you on it.
Right.
They give it to you and you can fill out answers, but what do you learn and what do you take in? And even if you're walking it out in a program, when you leave that program, you need to be taught how to live outside of. And I think that's one of the things that Audrey's describing, that we want to teach you how to live, and we want to be part of that.
Yeah. You know, I always heard so many times, you know, you can have fun sober. Like, I didn't know that you could have fun sober. You know, I'm sure that's something that you guys have heard too, or even said, you know, like being sober is boring, but showing these people that being sober and having life with Christ is laughter and fun, and, you know, taking them in and showing them that. But it's not just about, you know, the having fun. It's about, how do I parent? You know, not just writing answers in a book, but really, like, let's get your kids in here and let's let you figure out how to parent now. You know, like,
how do I deal with my family that doesn't trust me?
Yes. Yes. How do I deal with those things? How do I grocery shop? How do I budget? You know, that's a huge one.
A big one.
How do I cook? How do I clean? You know, like, cleaning is not my strong suit, you know. It is not. That's why the camera's angled this way, so you don't see the rest of my house. But, you know, teaching people how to clean, how to do
how to
things.
date.
How to date.
That's a big one.
Huge one. How to date godly, you know.
How to set up healthy boundaries.
Yes.
There's so many things that you don't think of, even when you're like, yes, I've gotten sober, I'm good. This is so great. And then you get out there and you're like, there's a whole world.
Yes.
Of
Teaching
decisions.
people how to live their day-to-day life in Christ. You know, how to live it, not just, you know, not just be clean, not just put answers in a book, but how to live their day-to-day life like this. And the only way you can do that is in walking in your day-to-day life, you know? Yeah. So we have 3 ways that we want to do that. We have the brochure here as a cheat sheet helping us with it. So if you guys don't have a brochure, let us know. We'll get you one. Oh my gosh. I told you this one would be a little awkward. It's okay.
The next one will be too.
Probably all of them.
I'm sure all of them will be.
Yes.
No doubt.
So, you know, with the recovery program, we want to do things like long-term treatment. Long-term treatment is so important. You can be clean for 28 days. You know? And that's another thing, you know, it's not about just getting clean. Getting clean is the easy part. It's about digging up all of these fears and insecurities and hurts and pride and jealousy and digging up all of that stuff in you. That's the part that takes the long time. You know, changing your life, changing who you are, renewing your mind.
Some of those things will still come up long after you've left the program. But the tools that you learn in the program is what you will use to conquer those things later on.
And the connections that you make, you know, when those things come up, those connections that you made, you can call your friend up, your sister in Christ, and say, look, you know, this thing is being dug out of me right now. You know, I'm having a hard time with this right now. What do I do?
Can I thank the Lord for that?
I'm trying to force Brittany to talk.
I know. She's like, she
she
raises her eyebrows at me. That's you. No, but I think it's so important that we have a long-term program because, you know, we didn't get there overnight. And even long-term, a year-long program is just a good start.
Amen to that.
But like Sheena said, you know, you learn the tools in the program, and you develop a family, you know. So
Brittany just short-circuited.
I know. All right, move on.
This is the awesome thing too about these videos. We're not going to edit a bit of it. You're just going to get us
raw us.
Who we are. Life and job skills training.
Gosh, that's fun.
Yes.
That's fun.
Well, I never held down a job when I was in addiction. I never had a job. we didn't work a 9 to 5 job. It was hustling a lifestyle, you know. So learning that in the program is so crucial to getting out and learning a successful life, day to day successful, you know. And even the life skills, like you said, parenting and anger management and things like that, those are so important to learn. So you pull out those tools when you actually are back home and have the kids, you know. And of course, that's why we want to do some of the weekends where the kids come and we can do that, you know, hands on. And learn that. So.
And even things like gardening and cooking and sewing and crafting and, you know, things like that you may never do again, but you can learn a new skill.
Before I got married, I thought, I'm not going to be able to cook. I'm not going to be able to take, you know what, it's one of the most joys I get is cooking for my family now. And it's that simple thing that makes, I don't know, it makes a difference.
I love crafting now. I never knew before that I loved crafting. You know, I love it now. I do it for VBS and do it for the church, and I enjoy it. It's so much like therapy for me. You know how gardening is for some people, and I love that we are going to give that opportunity to people to find ladies to find that. You know, their therapy and you know,
you may be a crocheter.
You never know. You never know. You may be a painter. You may be a drawer, you may be a writer, you know, but to find those things and unlock those things so that you can do them, you know, and it really helps you find your identity. You know, you're not a drug addict, you're not, you know, a liar, you're not a thief, you're not any of those things. You have an identity in Christ, and we want to help you find that identity. And your identity is going to be different than my identity, and my identity is different than your identity. We are all children of God. But how we walk that out is different for each of us, you know? And so finding that, you know, for me, it's, you know, painting and things like that. I'm horrible at painting. They do not look good at all. But I really enjoy it. You know, for you, it's crafting. For you, it's cooking. You know, that's how we are walking out this thing, you know?
And getting so much joy from that, because before such misery that you were in addiction and never even, like you said, unlock those things. So even having the joy in doing those things, and just the happiest person putting my little crafts together, you know, it's good.
Sending pictures of the fish plate.
How many fish did you cut out?
I can't even tell you. But I loved every bit of it, you know, I did.
Do you remember an addiction when you used to see people that were happy doing normal everyday things, and you were like, man, I want that, but I don't know how to do that.
How do I
get there?
Yes, and that's what I love about it. It's how do you get
there?
Let's walk beside you and show you.
Yes, you can get there. You can get there. If we can get there, you can get there.
And then, you know, the next thing is one-on-one discipleship. Once you have been in the program for a couple months and we really get to know you, you'll be assigned to one of us, and you will be assigned to one of us as a one-on-one discipleship. You will, when we're at work, you'll be with us. When we go to meetings, you'll go to meetings with us. You will come and you will have dinner in our house with our families. You're going to be discipled one-on-one with us and walk through this thing with us and see how we handle successes and see how we fall and how we make mistakes and how we get back up and how we do that stuff, because you need to learn that. You know, not everything is perfect. You know, living for Christ doesn't mean perfect.
No.
Not at all.
One of the biggest lessons that I had to learn was how to deal with people in intense situations. When things are hot or heavy and when someone hurts your feelings or talks down or bad to you, how you handle that situation is completely different than when you're in addiction. And you have to, watching other people handle those situations was such a blessing for me. It taught me a lot. It still took a lot of my own learning and self-control in that, but that's one of those things I think is fantastic for one-on-one discipleship is like Audrey said, everything, watching everyday tasks, dealing, choices, everything. I'm a firm believer that healthy conflict is one of the most important skills you can learn for sobriety.
healthy conflict, because if you don't know how to deal with conflict healthily, you're going to run from everything. You're going to push people away. You're going to isolate yourself. You're going to let anger in. You have to learn how to deal with these conflicts, because they're going to happen. They're going to happen, even with the best of friends, even with the closest of people. They're going to happen. But if you don't know how to deal with them in a healthy manner, they will destroy you.
Because you're still wearing your flesh.
Yeah.
Your flesh will drag you down. It's the Christ that's in you.
Yeah.
I was just reading a quote this morning, and it was from a missionary, and her thing was, it's Christ in me, not different circumstances around me.
Right.
It's got to be. It's got to be Christ in you. You have to learn how to listen to that.
How to tap into Him, and let that lead you, and not your feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're there all the time.
Yes, all the time.
All the time, and constantly changing.
Yes. Another thing that we're going to have is tailored transition options. So, we know that our program is not a one size fits all. It's not the same. It's not the same path that's going to work for everybody, because people have different directions that they're going in after. And so we have 4 transition options. I don't know if I just hit all 4 fingers. We have 4 transition options. I don't know that it matters. It's fine. And so those 4 options are going to be based off of what your life is and what you are trying to do and where you're trying to go. And so the first option is going to school. If you want to go to school, we want to encourage you, get a degree. We want to encourage you, get some kind of certification. Go to TCAT, go to Walter State, whatever it is. If you're going to school, you can stay in the house rent-free. You can eat all the meals, all that stuff, and be able to just focus on the school. The second one is if you're moving back home. And if you're going to be moving back home, we want to do things like mandatory family counseling sessions. We want to do things like random home visits. We want to do things like, making sure that you have a job lined up whenever you get there, things that we can do to set you up for the best success as possible. The third one is if you're staying here in Morristown. And even then, we want to meet with your family. We want to make sure that they know that you're going to be staying here, make sure that they're on board with it, make sure that you can still do things on your permanency plan to get your kids back. We want to make sure that you have a job, that you have a healthy place, a healthy environment to be able to go to. And then the fourth one is working for the ministry. And if you choose that, of course, we want to meet with your family. We want to make sure they know that. We want to give you time while you're in transition to try you in different places, and not just give you a title right away, but figure out where your strengths are in the ministry. We want to talk with you and find out why you want to work in the ministry. Make sure that your heart is in the right place. Make sure that you understand that ministry is not a 9-to-5 job.
No, it's not.
It is a lifestyle, and really find the way that we can best set up the person that's coming through our program for success.
That's great.
I was done. I was hoping somebody else would jump in.
Okay. That was great.
So she said it all.
I know.
Yes.
You covered that. That's,
And it's great.
It's great. It's great. Help acquiring employment. We want to make sure that we help you get a good job that has benefits, that has, 401k, that is going to be able to pay you enough to be able to, sustain a lifestyle, to be able to get your kids back. Oh, that's my dog. Help acquiring employment and doing things so that we can make sure that you have a good job.
Yes.
And then day and weekend passes, being able to set you up where you can spend time with your family, where you can start working things out with them while that you're in the program, and having those freedoms then, but making sure that you have accountability and you're drug tested whenever you get back, and we're helping you work through the things that go on at home.
Yes.
Learning how to support one another again.
Yes.
And I think in little increments of it too helps you along the way.
Yes.
Like it go today into to weekends, because at first, man, it's hard,
Yes.
and you got to learn in it. So I think it's very good that you just transition into that more and more, and to learn to deal with your family conflict, hurt,
and learning how to walk this out at home.
At home, yes.
Learning how to do this at home. Learning how to read your Bible at home. Learning how to be Christ-like at home. Learning how to put worship music on at home. Because you have to learn how to do it there. Finding a church at home that you feel connected in, that you feel like you belong with, so that you can be set up for accountability after, things after, and we want to start that out with day passes. And then once the day passes go well, you'll get one weekend a month. Once those go well, you'll get every other weekend. Once those go well, you'll get every weekend, and really take our time giving you these freedoms back and work with you every step of the way. Yeah.
And a safe place to return to.
Yes, absolutely. And then another big heart that we have is whole family healing, because we know when you're in addiction,
it's the whole family that gets ill.
Yeah.
Everybody's sick in it. Yeah. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's broken. And everybody's confused at the end of it.
Yeah. And it's so hard if you come to a program and you find healing and then your family doesn't.
Yeah. Because you find healing when you decide to take it seriously, but your family doesn't start to find healing until they start to see the new you, and they only see the old you still in their heads. They remember what you've shown them, and there's a whole process to that. So starting that healing while you're actually in the midst of your healing is
and when you guys heal together. So some things that we have for that is like family counseling sessions. Bring all the skeletons out of the closet, bring all the dirt out. Let's clean it up. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about your hurts. Let's talk about the things that have happened. Family nights at the home, letting your family come in and share a meal or have a board game or something like that, and be able to connect with other family members. Your daughter's in addiction, my daughter's in addiction, your sister's in addiction, my sister's in addiction, and be able to connect with each other. Family support groups. We've been able to talk with Miss Stephanie Hardy. She offers some great family support groups and some things like that where the family can come in and ask the questions that they feel like I can't ask other places. Maybe these are dumb questions. Maybe I don't understand, but a place where they can come in and have a place where they can ask those questions and talk about those things. And kids weekends where your kids can come in and stay the weekend with you, like we've talked about. Starting that parenting journey now while you're in the program. Kids are wild.
They are.
Get your whole routine down and then throw a kid in the mix.
Yes. I'm gonna sit here quietly and read my Bible every night. My kid's like swinging from the chandelier and breaking stuff. And, you got to find a way to work it out with your kids there because it's totally different.
Yeah, and incorporate them with it. How are you going to, as a family, read your Bible? Things like that. And it takes a while getting back into it and learning these things. So.
That's a good one.
That's all I had.
That's great. You jumped in there, Brittany. You got it. Yes. And then the thrift store ministry. You want to go through some of these?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, the thrift store is a big deal. It would help us become self-sufficient, but in the sense of the ladies, it would help them with their job training. With their job training, and one big thing is dealing with the public again.
Yes.
We have a strong belief that if you allow them to go out and work within the first few months and you put them in the world and money in their pocket, it can be a big trigger. So giving them a place to learn job skills. What is it, Dozer? He needs to be pet. He needs attention. There he goes. Okay. Gosh.
No editing.
He got his 15 minutes of fame, or 15 seconds of fame.
Raw, unfiltered, here we are.
What was I saying? The women will deal with the public again. They'll have accountability because they will learn how to hold one another accountable, and they will be held accountable by us as well. they will learn their job skills, a schedule, getting up in the morning, brushing their teeth, taking a shower, having breakfast, going to work, being on time for things.
And man, just on that subject, self-care
is
so important
self-care is
to healing,
And you know what? One of the things that I've encountered a lot working in women's ministry is, and being in it myself as well, is that we don't care for ourselves on the street.
No.
There are some girls that on the street, you didn't shower, you didn't eat, you didn't brush your teeth. A lot of us are very insecure of our looks because of the way we took care of ourselves on the street, or did not take care of ourselves. And teaching them that even those things that you might have, scars, things like that, you're okay, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
And learning how to love yourself again in the simplicities of, like, let me brush my hair and put on a clean outfit and take a shower and go work.
That's such a huge step for some of these people, that have, like you said, been on the streets, been living in trap houses, been couch surfing, been miserable in abusive relationships and all those things. We quit taking care of ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
We give up on ourselves, and so something just as simple as taking a shower every day, putting on clean clothes, that's a huge step towards healing.
It is.
Yeah.
And then, also the Thrift Store Ministry will be a place of ministry where the girls will learn how to give back to the community. We are going to welcome our homeless community, our other recovering communities into Thrift Store for all different purposes of helping them with clothes for job interviews. I'm sorry, but one of the biggest needs that homeless people have are usually socks and some shoes, So we want to be able to provide those things for people who are in need, and we want the women to do it in a sense as well. That we want them to see it. We want them to learn how to give back to people. Plus, those people seeing these people who are changing their lives. It's encouraging for both sides. Having that thrift store will do so much for these women. We all went through something like that, and I remember crying on that thrift store floor for many different reasons, but it also taught me many different reasons. But it taught me, there were times that, and I know you did the same thing. So there were times that I would go to the corner and get on my knees and pray, and it taught me how to lean on God, because another thing is be surrounded by godly people all the time in the midst of the world. And you will learn a lot in that. It's different than just going out and working in a factory, and you're surrounded by ungodly people all the time, and you're still learning how to be godly. You have to learn those skills in a safe environment first, and then take those skills out to a worldly environment while you still have the safety net there. And then start to pull the safety net out, and say, okay, here you go, flap your wings, fly, But I'm here when you need me. And that's it's quite a big deal. It really is. I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't put money in the pocket of a freshly recovered person. So this is that time to learn your job skills, learn how to deal with the public, learn how to just be again, and not have to worry about paying bills. Where are you going to get your next meal from? How am I going to buy my clothes? Because that's another thing too. When girls come in off the street who are homeless, and girls come in out of jail and don't have a thing to them, the thrift store will provide. They will provide the shoes and the shirts and any other thing that they might need. And giving back is such a key to staying clean. It is. It really is. The Bible says, freely you have received, freely you give. And so teaching these girls to give back, teaching them to minister to the homeless, teaching them to love, teaching them to help. It's going to be so huge in helping them find their ministry. Because we want to encourage people, you find your ministry and you go out and do your ministry. Ministries, they go in all different directions, all the way from just being, a stay-at-home mom to working in a career to going out and feeding the homeless to going out. There's so much. But wherever you are, it's a ministry, and you have to give back in all of it. Doesn't matter where you go. And I think it also teaches you how to push through, like working the 9 to 5, not taking a nap by 2 o'clock, and being able to take the breaks, the 15-minute breaks on time, be back on time, use restroom breaks, and go to the bathroom and come back to work. Do those things and learn those things. Take a lunch for 30 minutes, and that's it. Come back to work, and even
even after work, you still have things to do, you
yes.
know, and you still got to go home, and you still got to cook dinner, and you got to take care of the kids and doing those things. So it's continuing to learn to push through and inviting God into your work area, and learning that there first. And like you said, the safety net. So when you are out of the program, you know these things, and you've trained for these things, you know?
Yeah. And knowing, part of being godly is working at your job and being diligent in it. Part of being godly is being back from your breaks on time. Part of being godly is not taking advantage of your job. Part of being godly is doing whatever you do as unto the Lord. And teaching these girls that, and teaching them how to be women of God.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's, kind of the setup for what we have for Royal Path Ministries and our heart in that. Some of the ways that you can get involved is praying for us, praying for Royal Path Ministries, praying for us personally as we're going through all this, because boy, starting up a ministry definitely invites some attacks of the enemy and some things that the Lord is faithful and pulling stuff up. So be in prayer for Royal Path and for us and our families. Presentations. You can call us. We would love to come out and do a PowerPoint and present to, your job or your community or whoever it is. Share the brochures, share our videos, share our stuff, get the word out there, and sponsorships. Being able to go on our website and give either on a regular basis or a one-time basis. Any of that stuff, 100% of what's given is tax deductible. And it's also going straight to helping people. It's going straight to helping people. These are the videos. We're going to try and do them maybe every other week. The next couple videos are going to be testimonies. I'm going to give mine. Brittany and Sheena are going to give theirs. So make sure that you stay up to date to hear our testimonies and what we've been doing, how we've gotten there. And then we have some cool ideas for some just little talks and things. So, yay! All right, that's it. That's all we got. Bye, Facebook.
Bye.